Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, today we're going back to the top of the top performers of the moment. This one caught my eye. Not that I expected it to be the best map in the world, but I wanted to see what sort of take we've got on the main feature, that being a giant lump of granite. Those of you ahead of the game will already know this. Now, I need to tell you that
It's my first map.
Yeah, third time this week. Will this be our first good My First Map this week? Well, I need to tell you that the map has got one major flaw, and experienced players will spot it pretty early on. But before we look into their flaws, I want to look into my flaws. How flawed am I? That's right, if I'm very flawed, you might want to support the channel to improve my standards. Give that like button a big old slap right now, go on. Today's map is Gibraltar by Powerism. Powerism is a great name, and so is Gibraltar, naturally. Let's have a little look at that start square and not talk about it for now, shall we? Okay. Now, what can I tell you about Gibraltar? Gibraltar, if you're from a part of the world, you're not in Europe, you've got your eyes closed to the world, there's your terrain heights. It's on the southern coast of Spain, as close to Africa as you can get, pretty much. There's your resources, and it's a British colony, and the Spanish would like it back, and we're not letting it go. And okay, off to the workshop. And what have we got? Well, apparently nothing. But when I loaded up the game, the Cedar Valley 4K theme automatically loaded in, so you probably want that. We're using the realistic 1.2 LUT, and you might notice some non-vanilla trees. We'll talk about those right off the bat so that you know. The generic tree pack and the leafy tree set are in operation. Okay, why are they not on the list there, Powerism? We need them on the list. Obviously, I'll be rating this at the end of the show as if these trees were invisible, because basically, technically speaking, they should be. But it's one of those things that I load up the map and I have to have all assets enabled because of the asset of the day, which means that anything that I'm already subscribed to will appear as a matter of course. Okay, anyway, we're just a little trick. Right ahead of you now, that great big hill in the background standing out, there be Gibraltar's rock. Okay, this isn't the best angle to see it from because we are currently in Spain. I know that the map is called Gibraltar, but actually the majority of it is actually Spain. I don't have a problem with that particularly either, for that matter. Not quite sure what's going on with this one section of bridge, but it's a complete mess. It's a complete... First of all, it shouldn't be a bridge. Secondly, it's a complete mess. And also, elevated highways. Now, this is creative. This road doesn't exist. And if it did exist, it wouldn't be elevated throughout. It comes down to ground. We've got a little bit of sound barrier on one side and not on the other. You'll see that a few times on the highways, actually, where one side is sound barrier, the other one isn't. Not sure why. Anyway, this isn't your start square, which you would think it would be, because the start square is over here, and you'll notice a notable lack of building space right about there. Fortunately, we've got enough room just outside of the start square to plop down the asset of the day, and this one is WY, short for the creator I imagine, JP, short for Japan, URARA-TSUTAYA. TSUTAYA? So yeah, I'm going with that. It's by Waya. Waya doing a lot of great Eastern assets, and certainly I think that their thumbnails are not as good as their assets. If they do some work on their thumbnails, they might become an even greater creator than they are already. Factoids because factoids. The Russian ballet dancer and choreographer Nijinsky was born on this day, the 12th of March, in 1890. He shared many great triumphs with his one-time lover, the impresario, got to get the pronunciation, Diaghilev. There we go. Sorry, just checking my notes. But in 1917, at the age of 27, he had a mental breakdown and never worked again. Nijinsky, happy birthday. There you go. wy-JP-URARA-TSUTAYA by Waya. Okay. I'll just settle for that. I'll just settle for that. Sorry, I don't think I've got my... I know I struggle with pronunciations normally, but I'm struggling particularly hard today, I feel. Right, okay, well, we're going to skip over the highways pretty quickly because you can see it's just an arced elevated highway. It is a good arced elevated highway. I don't think we can floor it on that. And the intersections like this one, can't grumble about this. It's all good, solid work. It is all a work of fiction, pretty much. I mean, there are roads. Oh, look, hang on. When you're elevated, there's always a chance of a tree sneaking through underneath. Always a chance. But yes, the non-vanilla trees that are sneaking in underneath. It's a fail. Now, anyway, we're in Spain still, and we're now heading down towards the main feature of today's build, which is Gibraltar and the Rock. We're not quite in Gibraltar yet. Not quite in it yet. Still not quite in it yet. Coming up towards border control. I think about now. About this line here. Ish. Yeah, about there. So there's Gibraltar. Most of that is outside of the 25 tiles. So you probably want the 81 tile mod for today's map. Not a huge build space, but that's the thing with Gibraltar. There's not a huge amount of build space. That's just the nature of the build of the area. And we do have rail, and we've got quite a lot of rail infrastructure. Again, it's not bad at all if you want to completely ignore catenaries on lines and things like that, because we'll see a few of these if you look hard enough. And yeah, you could remove them. You go with the catenary replacer, get rid of them. You could do a little bit of tweaking, but it's a little bit distracting for me, just a bit. Not the world's biggest problem though. And then, so we're going to ignore that one, and we'll just follow the rail line around this way. Again, the rail is pretty much like the highway. It seems to be more or less a work of fiction. I'm sure that there are rail lines I haven't looked in that deeply. I looked at the highways and I looked at the general infrastructure. I didn't look at the rail. So if it's a work of fantasy, it's not a bad work of fantasy. And it's strong and it's bold and it's pretty good standards, ignoring catenary clipping. Down here at the docks in Spain, very nice. I'm not even going to try the Spanish pronunciations. And then that goes off. But do you know what? I think we've seen enough. We'll come back for, is there shipping?
Do you have trouble building on steep hills? Do your buildings continually glitch into or out of the ground? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Building on Steep Hills by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
So shipping routes, of course we've got shipping routes. It's Gibraltar. This would be a 0-star map without shipping routes, basically. We've got a good strong shipping route that comes this way, which is coming in from the Mediterranean. And then we are going to meet the main shipping route going into Gibraltar Bay. And when we meet it, we're going to meet it at a right angle. Although technically speaking, we are out very deep in the fog here. So I don't mind that one too much. But now we're getting in towards the play area. We have another sharp right angle turning here. It could be right angle. If this one turns right, that'll be a real tight turning. Let's have a look. Give him a moment. Oh no, he's turning left. He's turning in towards the bay. That's fine. We can let that go. Then this has got another right angle turn there. That goes over to another right angle turn over here. And that goes out of the map. And then the rest of it goes up and into the bay and loops around. And we've got dead ends going into where you'd want them to. So overall, not bad apart from the right angles. Now water flow, we do have a couple of rivers on the map. And they're good, strong, bold rivers. Again, slightly a work of fiction in terms of how strong and bold they are, but we'll let them go. Now, is that going to give us water flow through the start square? Because, trust me, we're going to need every bit of help in this start square we can get, considering there's very hardly any build space at all. The answer is yes, but it's edge of map water flow pushing in. Still, it is moving. And so, based on that, we've got a win. We have a win there. Now, let's have a little look at the build areas. Let's start all the way over here. Once again, out of the 25 tiles mostly here. This is where you want to have your airport. If you're going to do a Gibraltar airport. And remember, you've got to have a main road crossing across it. And if you're not aware of that, have a little Google of Gibraltar's airport and just have a look at how it is actually crossed by your road. This is the Rock of Gibraltar, famous Rock of Gibraltar. I'm just a bit disappointed it doesn't look anything like Dwayne Johnson. That would have got bonus points for me. It's that kind of shape, yeah. We have footpaths running up and down it in real life, probably not quite as steep as that, but it's not a bad effort actually. I'm going to give credit where it's due for that one. And then over here, there's a tree in the water there. It looks like a tree in the water right there. Gone. One drowned tree. I think I can let that one go. In the grand scheme of things, we're going to let one tree go. And a big old bay. Do you know what? I think this is not a bad builder's map. It's just not got the best start score. Oh, a lake. I like this little lake. It's being filled by quite a scenic little river, a tree-lined river, probably too cleanly tree-lined, but let's not moan too much. That is, an effort has been made to line that stream with trees. But where's all that water going to? Where's that lake not overflowing? I don't know. Anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We'll use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. What do I think? I think with that start square, the answer has to be no. Sorry. Okay, aesthetically, it's okay. It's actually okay. Right, okay, I appreciate we've got a lot of trees that we wouldn't normally be able to see. It's the right sort of shape, and the Rock of Gibraltar does kind of look a bit like the Rock of Gibraltar. I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to give it a 3. Detailing. It's bold, it's strong, the networking is fine, if not realistic. All the trees that are there you wouldn't normally be able to see because they shouldn't be there, because they shouldn't be subscribed to, really. I can't really go to 3 or 4. I've got to give it 2 stars for detail. 2 stars because the networking is good. It is. Gameplay potential. If you can get started on this from that start square, if you can, you could have a good play on this. But I have to give 2 stars. Just because it's just a crap. You haven't even got a road. You have to start with shipping, which is going to take up even more room. Gibraltar by Powerism. I'm glad I had a look at it. I am glad I had a look at it. It's not the worst map we've ever seen. It's got a few basic first map flaws, and all credits for actually having a go. Anybody that has a go at building a map should get a little nod. Should get those that have made some sort of effort at the very least. We do see some which have got 0 effort involved, but that one has, so credit for that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing, for joining me for this episode of What's Map. There'll be another one coming along tomorrow, and a lot of extra episodes of all sorts of stuff starting next week. Watch out for that.